Let's go.
The Sportz Nutz are back.
You are now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Yes, you are now listening to the Sportz Nutz. Welcome everybody to yet another amazing episode of the Sportz Nutz. We hope you guys had a fantastic week. We had a pretty good week here. Today we have a very special episode. We have a good friend of ours. You guys know him very well. He comes on regularly. It is our great friend Abe Gordon of 92.9 The Game in Atlanta and host of the Abe TL show. And afterwards, we have some more thought-provoking segments. We are going to be talking about the UFL expansion. Yes, UFL is expanding. Yeah, really excited about that one. There are other cities that are possibly going to be mentioned soon. We'll talk about those. The Masters. Now, this one's a crazy stat. How much are they bringing in, expected bringing in revenue for the entire area of Augusta? We'll talk about that one. Shane's got a sports story. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL being investigated by the Department of Justice. We are going to also be talking about the NHL and NBA. It is the final few days left of the regular season for both. We're talking about who wins what and what is wrapped up tonight even. Could the Atlanta Hawks, who are playing right now, could they absolutely finally clinch getting out of the play-in? We'll talk about that one. But real quick, let's give a special shout out to everybody listening on 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and the other 8 radio stations we air on. And now we are in 42 countries. We just gained some new followers in Sweden. Now it is only 3, but that's 3 more we had before. So we want to say welcome to everybody. Shane, man, happy Friday, good sir. Happy Masters weekend, man. We made it. I know you're excited about the Masters just as I am, but how are you doing, sir?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. It's a great Friday night for kind of everything going on. We got the truck race here at Bristol, right up the road. We got a sports center at the Masters. We got some softball games on. We've got the shuttle reentry and everything going on tonight. So man, just a wonderful night to have a lot of stuff going on that we could possibly talk about.
Absolutely.
Definitely, man, and definitely excited to be back on with Gabe, man. I hate I missed the last time, but it is what it is. But definitely excited to get into it with him. But man, it's Friday, and the weekend is officially started.
Yes, sir. We are here. We finally made it. God, I'm having a hard time talking tonight. Dadgum. Yes, we are also currently watching the Artemis shuttle reentry coming very soon. It is expected to do splashdown officially at 8:02, according to reports. So we'll see how that goes. But man, guys, we are beyond excited about tonight's episode. little update about my knee. I have done 2 PT sessions officially at ATI, and they're not a sponsor of us, but yeah, they're definitely putting the the term "hurt your knee" no end. I mean, they're kicking my backside. It hurts. But yes, shout out to everybody at ATI. Thank you guys for helping me get my knee better. I really appreciate you. All right, let's get him on. This gentleman, y'all, whenever he come on, we always have a great turnout with him. Great content. He's a great friend of ours. Abe, man, happy Friday, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, fellas. Just gearing up for a huge weekend, as you guys mentioned, the Masters. Right down the road here from Atlanta, just I-20 to Augusta. So excited about that. Been watching that. And then, NBA season coming to a close, and the Braves are playing good. So ready to roll.
That's right, man. So it's always good. It is always good to see you. So I want to dive right into this. By now, of course, everybody has seen the video. And if they haven't, they literally are living under a rock. But Reynaldo Lopez and Jorge Soler got into a pretty heated fight. Now, they both did receive their suspension. I know Reynaldo Lopez got his reduced from 7 to 5. So he'll be able to make his next appointed start. Now, this is a rare event for the Atlanta Braves baseball. I haven't seen a fight since the 90s with them. I mean, there's been spats, of course, but like actual fight like that was insane to see. But the old saying is this could help some teams become even closer, like a rally behind the fight. What are your thoughts on this brawl that happened? And what is your overall thoughts to the start of this young MLB season as a whole?
Yeah, look, it was very interesting because it's funny. Walt Weiss has been a member of the Braves organization for a long time. He played here. He's obviously been on the coaching staff here. But, when you bring in like a new player, either up from the minors or when you make a trade at the deadline and you get a guy and after 2 or 3 games, he finally does something to impact the team. You're like, hey, that's your Braves moment. That's your welcome to Atlanta moment. That's your introduction to the fan base. It was kind of funny. I'm like, oddly enough, it almost feels like this is Walt Weiss's like Braves moment. There were not a lot of people who were like definitely all the way on board with Walt Weiss as manager and that decision to kind of hand it over to a guy that was Snicker's right-hand man and all that stuff. And you're just not hearing that anymore. Part of that's because of a pretty good start from the rotation and the bullpen. But part of it's because of what we saw the other night out in Los Angeles tackling Jorge Soler. And I've said this, I've seen plenty of baseball fights. I think we all have. Some are more legitimate than others. Most of them just the dugout's clear, but guys are kind of pushing a little bit of talking. Rarely do you get a punch thrown, but every once in a while you do. I've never seen an actual manager get in the middle of it. And I've never seen him be the winning side, if you want to say that. We all remember Pedro tossing Don Zimmer to the side. Now, Zimmer wasn't the manager way back then. He was on the coaching staff, but it didn't work out well for him. This somehow worked out well for Walt Weiss. Again, we made a big deal of it here in Atlanta. He obviously has some martial arts backgrounds. We know about the Taekwondo. But that was a really nice double leg takedown. It's a full-on wrestling move. He performed it well. And more importantly, Brandon and Shane, what I really liked was the respect both from Soler to Walt Weiss in the aftermath, and then from Walt Weiss to Soler. Those guys do know each other. He was a coach when Soler was here as a player, and that sort of incident can be nasty. There was some respect shown based on that. No kind of a no hard feelings situation, at least between those two. I can't say the same for Soler and Reynaldo Lopez.
Yeah, it was definitely I mean, it really was. It was so bizarre. And when I saw it, I was like, is this real? Like, I mean, the last time I saw something like this, gosh, I think it was when Pedro Martinez threw Zimmer to the God. I remember that so well too. Like, he got all bloodied up, I think, from it too. It was an insane fight. All right, Shane, go ahead, man.
Hey, Ben, thanks again for coming on. And like I said earlier, man, glad I could be here this time with you. And I want to add, I put in our little group chat, what was it, yesterday or today one, but it was the form tackle and everything. And it said, it said Atlanta Falcons selection, Walt Weiss. So definitely great form, everything, man. You gotta love it from a manager getting in there and getting dirty with a team that needs that kind of morale with the injuries that they've had to start the season. But man, like I said, glad to have you on, and man, glad you wore what you wore tonight, because my first question for you was going to be about these uniforms. The MLB kind of this year decided to roll out all 8 City Connect uniforms at one time instead of gradually rolling them out as a previewed and stuff. I think the Braves kind of leaked a little bit early, if I'm not mistaken. But man, what a great jersey to kind of pay homage to the 70s and 80s. True powder blue Braves. Definitely the Murphy days that you can remember, and the ode to TBS there on the sleeve, the way they did that. Kind of give your thoughts on what the Braves did. Of course, us being biased, the best Connect jerseys that they got out there. But kind of give your thoughts, definitely in depth on the Braves, and kind of the other Connect jerseys that you saw when they rolled them out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I saw these when they were first released or when they were first leaked, and I thought to myself, man, I don't really buy a lot of jerseys. I certainly don't buy a lot of baseball jerseys. But this looks like something I might have to cop and I might have to wear. And so it went on sale yesterday, and I immediately dropped in there and got one. And overnight shipping was only $3 more than the regular ground. So I went ahead and did this and got here today. So here we are. Look, I think there's a lot of things to really like about this. Obviously, you mentioned the TBS thing there on the sleeve. It's just sharp. And honestly, one of the things that I didn't really notice, I guess, when I first looked at the jersey was the even older color trim here with the blue, red, blue. It's there and it's on the sleeves. It's just a really sharp look that kind of juices it up a little bit more from just plain powder blue. And that just goes to show you it's the small details that make a difference between, okay, that's just a shirt, or okay, that's something you can wear and look good in, feel good in, and hopefully we'll see play good in for the actual guys. But I thought it's the best jersey of the City Connect. Some of them I do like quite a bit. Some of them were a little bit more like, I don't really know what the angle was here, or it's a little too plain or not quite special enough. It doesn't really give you that much of a difference from what the regular jerseys are or whatnot. So look, the Braves have a classic look. They've been a great organization for a long time. They decided to embrace a classic look while putting a modern twist on it, and it came out really well. So they're on sale now. The public can get them either out there at the Battery at the team store or just online. So they're not cheap. I will tell you that. They are not cheap. My entire tax refund is going to this Braves jersey. But they look sharp, and I think I look pretty good in it. So
I think those jerseys.
And with that, Abe, you kind of talking about kind of off the wall stuff. One of the cleaner City Connects that came out was Kansas City, but the color scheme is kind of questionable. Do you know anything about why they chose that kind of purple and all that kind of deal?
I don't know the color scheme generally. I do know purple is just considered the royal color, and so I wonder if there's a tie in there, and that goes back, I was going to say decades, but we're really talking centuries, just in terms of purple being representative of royalty. The only problem I have, and it's not really a problem, is if you're not a real baseball fan, I don't know if you tie that to Kansas City. I don't know if you recognize that it's a Royals thing as opposed to just some other nondescript logo. If you're a baseball fan, you get it. If you know it's an MLB City Connect jersey, you get it. But
borderline 90s Diamondback colors.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law is a big Baltimore Orioles fan, and he sent me the picture of the Be More, and he's like, "What was this?" I'm like, "That's kind of bland. Just Be More." And then they had the little Oriole on there. So, I dig where they're going, but some of the, you're definitely got to question some of the motives behind all these uniforms. Like, why do they, like, example, like you're just talking about, why did Kansas City do the purple and the gold? And mean, it looks pretty cool. I think it's really nice looking. I like it. So I think the City Connects are going to be are going to be good to have. I like the one you're wearing, Abe. I absolutely do. So Abe, we are knocking on the door literally for the NFL draft, and that is so well documented. This draft isn't why am I going? Oh, there you go. Isn't exactly one to write home to mom about as far as offensive wise, but based off of your readings, your looks at mock drafts, what direction do you believe the Atlanta Falcons are going to go with their first pick in the second round, which is, by the way, the weirdest thing to say. Your first pick in the second round is?
Yeah, 48 overall. And it's so difficult because you're just not really able to draft a guy that you are circling as a bona fide starter. And forget like what level of starter you get. I mean, just in general, that this guy's starter quality. And so it's going to be a situation where you're probably not really circling in on who you want to take until 4 or 5 draft picks ahead of you. And you just kind of see what runs have been made on offensive linemen or defensive tackles or whatever, cornerbacks. It's really difficult. I think they're going on interior defense, probably a defensive tackle. But again, if there's a run in the late 30s or early 40s with defensive tackles and they just don't see one of value there, they'll either trade back and maybe pick one up later, or it goes somewhere else. The thing is, they have a lot of different needs, and so they're not really stuck in forcing a position, which is probably good because at 48 you can really get hurt if you miss on the one draft pick you have in the second round. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It just is going to depend on what other teams do. But I do think probably the biggest area of need is maybe defensive tackle, although you could always draft more pass rush. We all know what's going on with James Pierce. You may not have him for this season. So, not going to be too upset at pass rush. You're losing your linebacker, Caden Ellis, who had the green dot. So if you want to go for a more every down linebacker type at 48, maybe you look at that. And see, it's really just going to be best player available, and that's acceptable because they just have so many needs right now, all up and down both sides of the ball.
It is weird that Caden Ellis came from the New Orleans Saints. He's going back to the New Orleans Saints. I understand people have familiarity and comfortability and whatnot, but it's strange that, he goes from one team to the other and then goes right back to it. It's just kind of the nature of the game, though. That's how it happens. As I said, the cookie crumbles that way. Go ahead, Shane.
Oh yeah, well, Abe, as you are all things Atlanta sports, we covered it a couple weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, maybe. That the WNBA and the Players Association agreed the terms for new CBA to get the season rolling on time. And then probably the biggest news other than that is come from the Atlanta Dream in the trade acquiring Angel Reese. Kind of give us your thoughts on that trade and what you see the Dream doing kind of here in this upcoming season.
Yeah, look, this is a team that wants to win a championship. That's what this trade shows me. It's a team that finished tied for second in WNBA last season, but no one considered them a real title threat in the postseason, and ultimately they weren't there in the finals when two teams met up, and they didn't like that. They didn't like being overlooked, and they said enough of that. And look, Angel Reese is arguably, just in terms of popularity, one of the two biggest stars in WNBA, along with Caitlin Clark. There might be better players than her, but is there anyone who draws more attention, more eyeballs for good or bad reasons than Angel Reese? Very few. And so this move works on a variety of fronts, but look, they are going all in. They're bringing back Naz Hillman. It looks like they're going to get a near max deal done with Alicia Gray. And so they're pushing on to try and win a championship here. There's no question about that. And quite frankly, based on how good this team has been, is expected to be even before the Angel Reese acquisition, those draft picks down the road are probably not going to be elite top end players. And so I think this is a much more valuable player in Angel Reese than those picks would have been. She's led the WNBA, I believe, in rebounding each of the last 2 seasons. And well, you can make the joke about the rebound totals and the missed layups and all that. She's an impact player. At the end of the day, jokes can be had, but she impacts the game. There's no question about that. It's a team that wants to win a championship, and I think they just took a step into becoming one of those very few teams that actually could win it all this year.
Abe, there are so many great things taking place with the Atlanta Sports this year. I swear there isn't enough time to even ask about it, but how impressed are you with the Atlanta Hawks and how they've really turned things around? Obviously, they're playing tonight. If they win one of the final 2 games, they are guaranteed out of the play-in finally. I mean, that's a big improvement. ESPN themselves even said the other day that the team that is the dark horse of the league and the team that could really make major splashes in the playoffs is the Atlanta Hawks. What are your thoughts on what has transpired with the Atlanta Hawks, and do you see them making a potential winning their first series? Most likely would be with the New York Knicks.
Yeah, we can get to the playoffs in just a moment, but let's not overlook what has happened over the 30 games or 25 games, whatever the number is, since this team made acquisitions and trades. And at the end of the day, and I don't care what the GM says, I don't care what the head coach says, not that they have said this, nobody saw this coming. It was completely unexpected. It was without any expectation. You make the trade, and your mindset is, okay, we have a vision, right? You make the trade, and you're no longer asking, can this team win with Trae Young? You're telling the public, you're telling the league, you're telling yourself, you're telling everyone that this is now a team that has a path forward. They're going to take Jalen Johnson. They're going to take the draft pick, whatever they get from the Bucks or the Pelicans, and they're going to try and build a core. You didn't expect role players to step up in ways that they have. You were hopeful Nickeil Alexander-Walker would take the next step, and he did. He's been even better since they traded Trae Young. CJ McCollum was supposed to be just an expiring contract. He's become an integral piece. If anything, you haven't got that much out of Jonathan Kuminga yet, and you're still doing some good things. Yeka Okongwu, while undersized defensively and still an issue, I think, at times, has become an incredible valuable piece. And then Dyson Daniels, again, offensively, even though he can't do much from beyond 10 feet, is so valuable defensively that you can see why you want to build around him, and he's still incredibly young as well. So let's just start there. The moves that were made to move Trae Young, move Kristaps Porzingis, was made with the idea that we have a vision, we need to build towards it, and we're changing the focus of our franchise. It was never with the intent of we're going to go on a run, we're going to finally get to the playoff seeding we thought we belonged to, with Trae Young and all that. That being said, the run has been great. I also don't want to get too far out ahead of yourselves in terms of, they're going to hit the playoffs and blow the Knicks right out the water in 5 games. Should be easy work, right? It's not going to be that simple either. I think this is a team that still has some really big questions, especially when it comes to a game with playoff intensity, playoff atmosphere, and quite frankly, playoff players. And this is a team that does not have a go-to guy. This is a team where I do not have and this doesn't mean they don't have that guy on the roster. This means we don't know who it is necessarily. You want it to be Jalen Johnson? I'm not sure it is. Maybe you want it to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm not sure that it is. And this is a team that has had trouble earlier this week against the Knicks and more recently on Wednesday against the Cavs, closing games out. And they didn't have an answer for Jalen Brunson, and they didn't have an answer for Donovan Mitchell. And I don't mean an answer for those two guys, but I mean when Brunson does what he does and hits a couple buckets in the final 90 seconds, who's hitting the buckets for the Hawks? And same thing with Donovan Mitchell. When he takes over, drills a 3 with some guy in his face, how do you get a tough bucket for Atlanta? That's still to figure out. And I don't think you're going to go very far in the playoffs if you don't have that guy. And you can sit here and tell me, well, what's better, knowing it's going to be one guy or having it be any number of guys? At the end of the day, you got to get someone that can get buckets in tough situations, right? That's what's great about Kevin Durant. That's what's great about Steph Curry. You know that they got the ball. You know they're being guarded, all that. There's a reason you get a guy who essentially is nicknamed Playoff Kawhi. There's a reason you get playoff Jimmy Butlers, because when the team needs them to step it up, they can. Who's that guy for the Atlanta Hawks? And again, doesn't mean they don't have that guy, but we haven't been in a position enough to see someone make a basket when it's tough. Is Jalen Johnson going to do that? I think that's the next step naturally for his career. Is he there yet? I don't know. I think we'll find out, but they got to get one of these next 2 wins and secure that play-in round spot. But look, I think anything, again, to go back to the whole premise here, anything you get in the postseason is a bonus. Just being in the playoffs, I think, is a bonus. When you trade Porzingis, you're probably looking at the 10 seed, and maybe you do something in the play-in, and maybe you get bounced and your season ends. That's not the situation you're in now. It's a chance to grow. It's a chance to learn from experience, and then you get some draft picks in here next year as well. You potentially spend in free agency. You take another step forward, and then maybe you're ready to win some series next season. And that doesn't mean you can't beat the Knicks or can't beat the Cavs, but you're going to need to show something in the postseason you haven't really been asked to show as you moved your way up the standings. And that's a little bit of intestinal fortitude. And so we'll see if they have that when they do get into the postseason.
We are talking to Abe Gordon of 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Real quick, I want to let everybody know we are about 5 or 6 minutes away from Artemis to officially splash landing in the Pacific. We will let you know when they splash in. But Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, I kind of formulated this next one as my last question, but man, you are on a run with this Atlanta Hawks talk right now, so I don't want to veer from it, man. As you talked, Atlanta has a pick via the New Orleans Pelicans right now. And potentially a top 6 to 9 pick projected is what it's coming out right now. And as you mentioned, maybe needing some point guard, shooting guard, some sort of guard help. What I want to do is I want to get kind of your opinion on what the focus of that pick should be with the talented guards that you do see in this draft class. But then kind of overall, who you think that pick should be, and what direction do you think Atlanta goes in this draft?
Yeah, it's really interesting because you just don't know what tier you're picking at, right? And the lottery is the lottery. And so, yeah, maybe it slots in at 8, but maybe it jumps up to 2. Maybe it jumps up to 3, and you completely change the tier of player you're looking at. I mean, everyone makes all this noise about Darren Peterson of Kansas. I'm not as concerned about the health and missing a couple of games that he missed in college as a lot of people. I love Darius Acuff out of Arkansas. If you're going for guard play, I know he scores a lot, but I don't think he's a scoring guard. I think when asked, he is a much more traditional guard with the ability to shoot. And I think he was top 15 in the nation in assists, along with being top 10 in scoring. And so I really like Darius Acuff. He's got decent size as a guard as well. You also need a big man. And I think you watch, again, Jock Landale goes down, and it's not that like Jock Landale's make or break for your season, but it's been a disaster in terms of size inside for the Atlanta Hawks, because your starting center now in Onyeka Okongwu is just massively undersized. Sometimes that's good because he can defend a couple of more mobile athletic centers that not every team can defend. We've seen Okongwu be outstanding defensively against Giannis, stuff like that. But you want some beef inside. And so depending on where you're drafting, depending on how it falls, you certainly look at Boozer as well. But you're probably going to have to be in the top 5, maybe even the top 3 to get a look at him. And so it's going to be really interesting. It's either a ball handler or it's a big man. I kind of like you can never have enough pass rushers. You just take the best player available. And if it's another wing, then it's another wing. And you just see what develops. Like the NBA is just gather talent and you'll figure it out on the floor. Unlike other sports where you just kind of have to sometimes fill positions. So, I've never been best player available in the NFL. I think you have to fill needs. The NBA, it's best player available. Just take the top talent on the board and you'll figure it out however you need to figure it out with the rest of your roster. So, it's going to be really interesting. I'd love to get one of those top 5 picks and get a look at either Boozer or Acuff. Caleb Wilson, DeBanza, Peterson, any of those guys. But if you're a little bit further down, if you're drafting 6 through 9, whoever's better, a big man or a ball handler, just go with it.
History has been made. The Artemis is splashing down. It should be down in the next 20 seconds or so. Congratulations to everybody getting a chance to see this happening. This has never happened in most of our lives. It's been over 50 years since the last time we came from outer space with regards to the moon. So congratulations to a successful adventure into space. But Abe, I got to go with this last question with you. With United still in the early stages of the 2026 campaign, it is again kind of off to a bit of a rocky start. Now it is still early.
It's not early. It's not good. We can continue, but it's not early and it's not good.
What do you think could really happen to help Atlanta?
The season could end.
Right the ship. There's something that's got to happen.
2 years from now, we'll have different players, and we can talk about this team potentially moving forward. But I think it's become very clear the manager wasn't the issue. This thing is not working under Tata. It didn't work under Gonzalo Pineda. It didn't work under Ronnie Dyla. It didn't work under Rob Valentino. And at some point, it's not the manager. Guys are not good enough. Latte Loth is not good enough. Miguel Almiron is not good enough. And when you're not scoring goals, every mistake costs you, because once you give up a goal, the game's practically over. It's not good, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a lot of hope that it's going to get better. It just isn't going to work with this group of players. And so the only thing, in my opinion, that can make it work is finding ways out of some of the contracts, using your transfer windows to try and run it up with some other players. But your designated players in MLS have to be good. They have to be difference makers, and 2 of your 3 are not. Alexei Miranchuk's outstanding. Miggy and Latte Loth are not, and this team's not going anywhere, in my opinion, as long as that's the case. They're on the road this weekend. They play the Chicago Fire, who's had an outstanding start to their season. They knocked off the number 1 seed last week in Nashville at home 1-0. And it just feels like we're walking into like a 3-0 defeat or something. Like, I don't know how they win this game. Maybe they will, and maybe something gets figured out, but I just haven't seen anywhere close to common occurrences of Latte Loth and Miguel Almiron being good enough. And if those 2 aren't good, the rest of the team is going to suffer. And that's what's happened.
Yeah, it's been disappointing. I mean, I had hopes. I had always had hopes for potentially something could happen. And then again, I watched them play a couple games ago, and it's like they were struggling, and they could not get an answer. And I'm like, God, what is this going on? Like, I mean, you would think that obviously Arthur Blank, he's sick and tired of all the mediocres and stuff. He wants to win now, but just something's got to be done, man. It's frustrating. Abe, man, I absolutely want to say thank you as always. So what is going on in the realm of Abe Gordon this weekend? When are you on air? And just kind of let everybody know what's going on with on your side, sir.
Well, as you mentioned, Atlanta United tomorrow. I got pre and post starting at 7:30 on 92.9 The Game. I got a show from 1 o'clock to 3:30 on Sunday, the Abe TL show on 92.9 The Game here in Atlanta. So, just a lot of discussion. I mean, we're watching Braves, watching Hawks, watching Masters. Same thing you guys are doing over there. So it's a busy time of year, but that's a great thing. Little sad that college basketball, March came and went very fast, March Madness, but now we're gearing up at draft prep. We're 13 days away from the NFL draft. So something like that. It's a good time of year. I mean, every time of year as a big sports fan is a good time of year, but it's a good time of year. So definitely busy here in Atlanta. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. Shane has a quick question for you. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, man, hey, we appreciate you coming on as always, man. It's great to talk with you, but being down there in Georgia, as everybody knows, and the Masters there this weekend. I know we're fixing to cover a little bit about it, but kind of want to get your thoughts on it. Kind of going into the money rounds this weekend with Rory holding a 6-shot lead on the field. largest in Masters history going into the money rounds. And kind of who do you see might challenge him this coming weekend, especially with Rosie and a couple other big names up there, and one in Patrick Reed that you don't normally see up towards the top of the leaderboard with him being on the Live Tour.
Yeah, Reed is interesting, and I know he's went to the DP Tour more recently, and so slightly different discussion. I know people used to hang on that can he play 4 full rounds after only playing 3? They play 4 rounds over there, so that's not a problem anymore. Here's the thing, guys. I was really high on Rory coming into the weekend. I just thought with the weight off of his shoulders, he's the guy to beat. And I know he hadn't been playing incredibly well, and honestly, he hasn't played very well this week. He's shot well and scored well. He's missing fairways left and right. He's recovering. He's chipping in on 17. I mean, he's put up numbers on back-to-back days, but he said it yesterday on his opening round. He probably thought he maybe deserved a 2 under. Well, guess what? You shot 5 under. Today, he was all over the place, and I thought actually he was in real trouble. He had bogeyed midway through the front 9, par, and bogeys right after the turn. I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have it. And if he doesn't score, it brings so many other golfers into the tournament. But then he goes, birdie, 4 straight to end it, and finds a real gap between them. And it was funny. I was doing a show today, and I had a former golfer on today. And I said, hey, man, is there a chance that Sam Burns can score today? Because if Rory scores, and this was when a number of players are already in the clubhouse. Wyndham Clark had already put into the clubhouse, and Justin Rose had kind of made a little bit of a run, but he was in the clubhouse. And I said, can Sam Burns score? Because if Sam Burns doesn't score and Rory scores, he's just going to end today with a massive lead. And that's what's happened. He's got 6 strokes, and now it's just like, okay, survive. Obviously, you don't want to change what you're doing. You just shot 5 under, 4 under, whatever it was. So just keep doing what you're doing in terms of staying aggressive, play your game, and play the course. But he's just scoring really well. And I don't think anyone can just make a run, have a good enough 2 rounds to catch him. It's a matter of whether he falls back to the pack or not. And look, Sundays at the Masters happens. Saturdays at the Masters happens. And so there's definitely a chance that he can fall back and guys can maybe slowly work their way back into it. But if he plays anywhere close to the way that he's done the past 2 days in terms of scoring, just no one's going to reach him. It was an incredible 4-hole finish that again, we're only halfway through this tournament, but it may have ended this tournament if Rory can keep his wits. And the fact that he's got that bug off of his shoulder, that he can't win the Masters and all that, it just feels like he's playing loose. It feels like he's in a really good place. And honestly, he's been able to make mistakes that have not cost him for the most part. There's a tier of playing that he can reach that's better than what he's done. Maybe not scoring wise, but just performance wise. And so there's a chance that this lead only grows on Saturday. But again, he's got to keep scoring. And if he gets on a run like that again, it's over.
Abe, man, I want to say thank you seriously for coming on. We will have you on again soon, man. And until then, enjoy your weekend and go Hawks. All right.
Yeah, definitely. They're hopefully pulling away in this one right now, but as we saw the other night, they were outscored by 24 in the third quarter. Just 2 nights ago by, I wouldn't say the same Cleveland team with Spider Mitchell on the bench, but still the Cavaliers. And so hopefully they close it out and we can talk about the postseason. Shane, glad you were here this time, man. Appreciate all the questions. Brandon, continued luck with that knee, man. I know you're working hard to get it back into a working order. So I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Sounds good, Abe. Take care, man.
You got it. See you, fellas.
Abe.
Oh, man. See, like Shane, that's always cool to have. I love Abe. By the way, the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard are almost at Artemis to open up the hatch and see how everything's going. But they have splashed down, and Artemis 2 has re-entered the Earth, splashed down, and we are moments away from seeing the astronauts for the first time in 10 days. Congratulations to them. All right, so now that now let's continue on with the show. So this is a big topic right here. Phil and Tiger. What happened to the greatest golfers that we got to grow up to watching? We saw for a long time it was Phil and Tiger, Tiger and Phil and Tiger. It was who was going to be the better of the two each time. And and there were so many great moments watching golf between those two. So it got me wanting to know, what was your favorite times watching Tiger and Phil play each other? Obviously, there's been an amount of great moments. So I want you to give me your favorite two, Shane. Give me your two favorite memories that you have of Phil and Tiger. I mean, even if they didn't play each other, that's fine. Give us your two favorite memories with them.
Oh man, definitely, being kind of left-handed growing up, although being I play right-handed now, being
Traitor.
about 5 years ago or so, where
You're a traitor.
I couldn't get that slice out of my game left-handed. But definitely pulled for Phil. My granddad, he was a big Phil supporter throughout. Kind of was one of those ones that stuck with Phil when Tiger came about. So I had to pull for Phil. Man, he's had many great moments. I really can't name one that would be worthy, but his short game is the best that golf has ever seen. Most recently on the Live Tour, where he actually chipped behind himself.
Yes, I saw that. That was
and
crazy.
hold it out for a birdie. So definitely go check that out. Tiger, the phenom, the legend of golf, the legend chaser, the legend killer, whatever you want to call him, kind of deal. But man, great to see him in this prime, and being at all that, man. All this says is we're getting old. I think if I'm not mistaken, both actually have qualified for the PGA Champions Tour, and you've got to be 50 or so many years removed from the tour at a certain age to be eligible. So definitely shows our age of seeing kind of prime, Tiger, what 96.
Yep.
It's kind of when he burst on the scene with the wins and stuff like that. And Phil was there, 93, winning big tournaments. So definitely good to see him. And I mean, I remember a young Phil in that oversized front visor.
Yes.
With the Ford logo on.
Yes.
And the pleated baggy khaki pants.
That was the thing back in the 90s, though.
Yeah, and I can tell you one thing: Phil is known to be a hustler on that golf course. So definitely don't go out there with shallow pockets with him.
Absolutely. My favorite memory, though, it's not really necessarily both. It's more Tiger. Was when I think he was coming up. His dad had just died. He's playing the Masters, and he hits that putt, and the ball stops right at the hole, and then it goes bloop at the last second and falls in. I remember watching it, and I was like, "Oh my God, did I just really see that?" It was a great moment indeed. Obviously, it sucks that we're no longer seeing the legends that we grew up with, and dadgum, you're right, Shane. We're getting old.
Hey, but there's plenty of great players out there.
Oh gosh, yeah, Jordan, Spieth, all of them.
Well, they're not really. Those are still older players now. To the next generation of golfers coming up. But to see Rosie out there in contention right now is definitely great to see for us older folk, I guess you would say.
Us older folk. Speak for yourself. All right, let's go to the next topic. Breaking news: the UFL is expanding. Yes, it has officially been announced that in 2028, the UFL is expanding to Oklahoma City. This is exciting news indeed, because the UFL is finally gaining the traction that they deserve. and it's officially here to stay, it looks like. Now, there have also been several other cities listed as potential candidates for expansion in the coming years. So, which city or cities do you think the UFL should expand to as well? Now, keep in mind, there is an infinite list basically, but these are the top 6. Here they are in no particular order, but Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, Minneapolis, Seattle, and LA, just to name a few. Which ones on that list, Shane, do you think will be the next to grab a UFL expansion franchise?
Man, I'm not really sure about the list. I think number one that you put up there might be Detroit. As we've had Coach Vince on, with the
Yeah, they
mid
had the Michigan
yeah
something.
Mid-Eastern
No, the
Bulldogs.
UFL team that's in Detroit, Michigan. They're bringing a second team. There's potential for bringing a second team.
Yeah, but look at the smaller football leagues
Mhm.
in that area. When you get up to the Mid East, the Mid Atlantic, whatever region you want to call it, that Ohio, Michigan basin around the Great Lakes, it's definitely a football mindset around there. I'd look maybe even Cincinnati area, in that region, Cincinnati, Dayton, would be a good region to look at for an expansion, to add a name to that list. But definitely the Detroit area. But then you kind of branch out. Well, what about Salt Lake City? To
Ooh,
add another
I dig that.
to add another, or Phoenix, kind of a Western team. You've got some Mid Atlantic, some Eastern, some South teams. You don't have any many Western teams.
Yeah, that's true. You
So
don't.
so so, so definitely look out. Maybe a name to look at. Denver, already has the infrastructure to kind of support some of this stuff. So that's one of the things that we talk about in all expansions: infrastructure
Absolutely.
to support it. So those are kind of some of the things that I look at, but definitely excited to see spring football expanding.
Yep, absolutely. We're really excited about that one. Let us know in the comments which cities you would like to see the UFL expand to, and we'll share the comments with us as well. 1 second. All right. And so now let's go to the next topic. Now, the Masters are expected to bring in a record amount of revenue in merchandise and food sales, which if you do not know, the Masters is the only place you really go to and get food prices way back in the 50s and 60s and 70s and stuff.
Martinsville Motor Speedway, $2 hot dog.
That's true. But you're talking pimento cheese sandwiches, $1.50. I mean,
if you hadn't had one, I took 12 to the house with me last time I went. They're that good. So
they're some of the best sandwiches you will ever have. Real quick, I'll let everybody know. Also, the U.S. Coast Guard and U.S. Navy have made it all the way to Artemis. It should be opening up at any time. But here is the total that they're about to bring in for the area. It's $70 million. That's a heck of a number. Now, it's not just in food and merchandise. No, it's in hotel stays, local restaurants, and shops and that kind of stuff. So the questions are: do you think that the Masters merchandise is amazing, or maybe imagine other locations hosting the Masters as well? Do you think they could do good as well, or is it just specifically a signature just for Augusta?
Well, this, you mentioned that 70 million, and that's really outside of the actual Masters merchandise, because inside the Masters, the merchandise there generates
Unless
about
you get those
three.
gnomes.
Well, the inside the Masters, as far as on the grounds of Augusta National, uh, those merchandise sales generate about $300 million.
Yeah, that's insane.
So we're just talking about the $70 million around Augusta and what it brings. I believe I sent y'all a thing earlier this week. What a regular $50 room any other time other than that Masters week
Yes.
is $50, and it's like $450
Yeah, it's sickening.
for Masters Week. I mean, you want to talk about inflation and all that,
Price
and
gouging.
yeah, price gouging, definitely. But it's just a historic event. I mean, you're not you don't hit it into the rough. It's a second cut. There's no mobile devices, even smartwatches. If you're caught texting on your smartwatch or anything like that, you'll be kicked out. So it's definitely one of those things that's kind of kept close to the vest. And it's a great atmosphere, great scenery. I know it's been said in the past that they've pumped in outside noises and everything to make the broadcast better. If they do, that's great because it's one of the most iconic broadcasts that there is in sports, and probably will ever be in sports. It's just one of those things.
Not forget it's the
Uh,
best theme song in the world too.
oh yeah, well, I mean, just that
Dun, dun,
going
dun, dun,
into it.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I love it.
I
It's
mean, I
awesome.
mean, I mean, you gotta love it, and I'm definitely glued into it. So, that's a dream goal one day to be good enough to break 120 at Augusta if I ever got the opportunity to play it.
My bucket list is to be play at St. Andrews and Augusta. That would be I would die happy man if I got to play at both those courses. They're just
Oh yeah,
iconic. All
oh
right.
yeah, for sure.
Well, Shane's got a little bit of a sports story to share with us. Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, my sports story. I kind of want to focus in on something that's been mentioned kind of earlier on this season. ESPN reported it, and a couple local North Carolina outlets reported it. But man, a man that's not only protecting the net, but is raising awareness. Brandon Bussey, a young goalie for the Hurricanes. Just recently signed an extension with them to make him one of the youngest, highest paid goalies in NHL history. Is just kind of doing his things on the ice and kind of raising awareness, on the ice as well as off the ice. He's I believe the youngest NHL goalie to reach 25 or to reach the so many wins over his first 25 starts, kind of deal. But has a younger brother in the story that was highlighted named Dylan, who is autistic and non-speaking. He kind of highlighted that and highlighted how growing up with his brother Dylan uh, taught him values that he used not only in real life with his brother and in the real world, but on the ice as well with patience and just hey, life is what it is kind of deal. But he ever since his sophomore year at Western Michigan, he's partnered with an artist and highlighted autism awareness on his helmet designs as a goalie. This year, very cool design that he did with the hurricane logo, and then the tie-dyed puzzle pieces that he has on there. If you're not aware, puzzle pieces and autism is one of the main kind of logos that you can associate with the cause. So definitely great to see. Go check it out. But just kind of wanted to highlight that story, and man, it's just great to see, and not only great to see, highlighting the relationship he had with his brother at that time, but highlighting the values that we can all learn to live by every day without a disability such as autism.
Absolutely. My quick sports story is an update on Tigers outfielder Parco Meadows. He was placed on the 10-day injury list. However, it will be extended. He broke his arm, and he also suffered a severe concussion. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, he and another outfielder were running, and they collided. Really, it was pretty gruesome watching that collision head on, and it broke. I was like, oh, it broke my heart watching it because you saw, if you look at one point, Parker does fence. So, excuse me, it was a pretty significant concussion. So keep your prayers out for him. All right, so let's get going. Our favorite topic, our segment of the night also is the honorable mentions. What we do is we give you 2 to 4 sports stories that the mainstream media either doesn't cover enough of, or they just don't cover, but we do, because it is literally in our name. We are the Sportz Nuts, where we're nuts about sports. My first honorable mention, good grief, is a huge shout out goes to the Big Ten during the NCAA tournament. Brought in a record $69.4 million in revenue. Wow. Congratulations indeed goes out to the Big Ten. Shane, give us your first honorable mention, please.
Well, I'll give you my first one just after. I'm going to tag along with you on this one. An honorable mention is going to go out to my sister, Kara. She won her men's bracket in her office pool. Well, be it a little bit of help for me, I doubt it was much.
She'll say you didn't help her, though.
Yeah, but congratulations to her for winning the whole shebang in the office. So definitely congratulations on that. She was the only one with me picking Michigan as a winner. So that was definitely great for her. But my first honorable mention, man, is going to go out to NASCAR. Man, it's they're right up the road in Bristol this weekend. The truck race is on right now. They've got the O'Reilly series, the Old Bush series, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow, and then the big boys coming up Sunday. So after a weekend off for the big boys, it feels like we're getting into the nitty gritty of the NASCAR season. So shout out to NASCAR, shout out to Bristol, and man, I hope everybody out there watching the races really enjoys themselves this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. My next honorable mention, shout out to the final week of both the NHL and the NBA seasons. You heard Abe talk about. We have 2 games left for the Atlanta Hawks. We have 3 games left in the NHL season, really, for a lot of teams. We're on the verge of seeing who wins the Atlantic Division. It'll either be Buffalo or it'll be Montreal. It will not be Tampa, unfortunately. Even if Tampa is to beat Montreal, it will not be Tampa winning it, but Tampa can still clinch the number 2 seed in the Atlantic. But shout out to Buffalo for real. I mean, Buffalo, gosh, for almost 15 years, they were the laughing stock of the NHL. And here they are. They're in the playoffs. At one point, they were biting for the chance to win the President's Trophy, which, as you guys know, it was awarded to Colorado, which we knew was going to happen. But shout out to Buffalo. Shout out to Montreal. Shout out to Tampa Bay. All the teams that are in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You're missing one. You're missing one.
I said all.
One.
I said all.
You're missing one.
I'm not shouting at your Carolina Hurricane. Not shouting on this Hurricane. Sorry, that's not me. All right, Shane, give us your next honorable mention, please, sir.
My next honorable mention is going to go out to the Seattle Mariners and Ichiro Suzuki. Be it maybe honorable mention fail
just a tad
in the unveiling of the statue, but giving the man his flowers, was an integral part of that that team, and being the first kind of true Japanese professional player to grace the MLB and be a Hall of Famer at that. So definitely shout out Ichiro and getting your flowers. I hope you have a great cake and you can eat it. Uh, they'll get that fixed. Don't worry.
That was
But
definitely a big oops when they did that.
yeah, but so definitely a great shout out to Ichiro for the honor and a fail to the unveiling staff and how they put that together, maybe even the builder.
Yeah. Absolutely. My third honorable mention, shout out to the Toyota Center for the Houston Rockets / Houston Comets home. They just approved a $180 million renovation project for the arena and is expected to turn it into the top of the line arena in all of basketball. So really excited on that one. And my last honorable mention, shout out to, not shout out, it's really the Department of Justice is investigating the NFL for streaming services, and they are, in theory, I think that absolutely is a good thing to do because they do overcharge for things. I mean, they made a statement today on the news that said you still get the other 87 whatever's in markets for free. No, that's not free. No, because if you are restricted to just your region, you get what is just in that region, and that could be it. You may only get one game. That's it. And you got to pay to have the Sunday tickets. You got to pay to have it air on Netflix. Got to pay to air it on Amazon Prime. You got to pay it to air it on Apple. I mean, it's so much coming in the way of it. So I think it's the right thing to do is to investigate. I think honestly, the NFL is getting too big for their britches. Don't punish the fans by making them have to sign up for $1.5 million one streaming services just to watch one game. It's not conducive, and especially with how times are right now with the financial world and what's going on. Don't make people have to spend an arm and a leg and anything else in between just to watch one game. That is all my honorable mention. Shane's, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well I got two more honorable mentions. One, as we've been shouting out all evening with the Artemis 2 crew, the pilot Victor Glover was the first African American actually in space to be a pilot of a craft orbit the moon. But two, was a dual sport athlete at Cal Poly when he was in college as a member of the wrestling team and of the football team. So definitely a little cool tidbit of information about a historical event that maybe might win you some bar trivia one day further on down the road. Just one of those interesting facts that I saw, and my last one, man, it's going to go out to Rory, man. Historic things that he's doing down there at Augusta right now. Blistering the field by 6 strokes. As Abe alluded to, all he has to do is maintain. You can go out there and play match play because it's basically you're playing with the second best player on the scorecard coming into the weekend because that's how the pairings go. So you're the final pairing. You're going to get the roughest conditions, as we know at Augusta. As it dries out, it gets more rancid for everybody. so
Mm-hmm.
so it's rare to see the form that he's in right now, and definitely is going to be one of those interesting things to see headed into the weekend. So shout out Rory, and let's see if he can keep it going.
Absolutely. Definitely. Such an amazing episode, y'all, tonight. Every episode is amazing, but it's always fun getting to just talk with you guys on the stream, getting to interact with each other. It's a refreshing sign. You know, as you guys know, I'm coming off of total knee replacement. It's not been fun. It's been difficult. I will tell you, it's definitely been a challenge. This knee replacement is the 8th and hopefully the final knee surgery I have to have at least for another 20 plus years. That's my hope. So we will see on that one. But we here at the Sportz Nutz, we need your help a little bit. Now, we do have a contest going on. We've gotten a few submissions, but we want more. So what we need you to do is send us 1 to 2 topics that could be permanent segments for the Sportz Nutz. What we need you to do is write a 1-paragraph summary for the topics and why you selected them. And if you win, here is your prizes. 1, you get to come on our show and debate with myself, with Shane, with Matt, and our new guy Ben, which, by the way, Ben absolutely is excited to debate with you, and rightfully so. But then also you get an introduction video of your time coming on the show. You get to keep that, obviously. And then you get 1 or 2 short clips of your time on the show. And you will forever be linked to I helped the Sportz Nutz grow. We greatly appreciate that. As you guys know, we are both a nationally recognized sports talk show and an internationally recognized sports talk show. So that's a good thing for you there. What we need you to do, email us your ideas to our email address. It is brandonkeeleronradio@gmail.com. You can message us on every social media platform. That is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. You can do it on mine, on Shane's, on Ben's, and even Matt's. Just no, don't give us 2 paragraphs because we read those. So that's a lot to read. And then we will select a winner. But get your submissions into us by April the 26th. And if you win, you'll be in that. We will inform you you are the winner through how you reached out to us. So thank you guys and good luck on that one. Now, here's the upcoming episodes for the Sportz Nutz. Monday, April the 13th, we have episode 216. Episode 217 is April 15th. It is tax day, but we're not talking taxes. We're talking sports. And then this one is I'm really excited about. Episode 218 is Friday, April the 17th. It is the 3rd and final round of the Sportz Nutz mock draft. And we are joined by our good friend, Jerry White. Really excited to have him on. As you guys know, Jerry is a great friend of our show. So we hope you guys get a chance to tune in there. I want to let everybody also know in the 1st of May, we have a very, very special guest. He is the former president of the University of Hawaii. He has been retired now for several years. Mr. Ben Jay, we're really excited to have him on. We also are close to booking. If you guys remember Devin Bice, he was the offensive line coach at Presbyterian. Now he is over at University of West Georgia, him and the head coach. I should know in the next few days what day exactly works for them to come on. But yeah, we have University of West Georgia football also coming on. Really excited on that one. So stay tuned for a lot of big stuff coming with the Sportz. So with that being said, for our good friend Abe, everybody who tuned in tonight and everybody who will tune in in the coming days, especially with our international crew, thank you guys so much. It really does mean means the world to us. Excuse me. Shane, give your final goodbyes, sir.
Oh yeah, well, you know, as Brandon mentioned, man, we appreciate y'all letting us binge here for a little bit. Everybody out there listening, watching, we thoroughly enjoy it, and we hope you do too. As Brandon mentioned, like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. As everybody will tell you, be kind, love everybody. May the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease. And as Matt would also tell you, it is the weekend. You're going to want to partake in some adult drinks. If you're going to drink, don't drive, grab a ride share, or better yet, just stay home because you don't want the whoop whoops behind you because you get them whoop whoops, you in trouble. And it's the weekend, so your butt's going to be sitting in that jail for a long time. So just keep your nose clean. Don't get flied in the game of life. Seriously, if you're going to drink, don't drive. Just plain and simple.
Drink,
and as
drive due to watermelon crawl.
Absolutely. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town, down why it's the greatest sports city there ever was. Hey, you guys have a fantastic, and I mean it seriously, fantastic weekend. It's going to be some splendid weather. I will tell you that the 90s degree temperatures, they're coming back. Yep.
Not yet up here.
Next week, it'll start on Thursday and it goes, and it's like for the next 3 days after that, it's 90 to 94 range. So good gracious, we're already in the 90s. Ouch. So, anyways, guys, hey, real quick, want to let everybody know the Atlanta Hawks, they do look like they are going to clinch the actual. They can clinch no worse than the 6th seed. At best, will be the 5th seed. They are mollywopping the Cavaliers. Are up by 23 on them right now. And also, shout out to the Charlotte Hornets, hanging tough with the number 1 seed, the Detroit Pistons. So, congratulations, everybody, getting to watch the final good part of basketball. Hey, you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Until then, enjoy this outro. And guess what? Matt will be back. You'll see myself, Matt, Shane, and our guy Ben. Have a good night, guys, and a great weekend. Goodbye.